Hi, Cole. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I gotcha.
Fantastic. Thank you for spending some time with us. We will go straight into questions for you. Who would like to start us off? Okay, we'll start with Rob Tiongson. Go ahead, Rob.
Thanks, Samantha, and thanks for joining us today, Cole. Cole, it's been a fantastic year for you upon your return in the Xfinity Series. What statement are you making to teams and competitors about what you can do in a stock car, given what you've been able to do so far this year?
Oh, well, I think at the end of the day, we've been a top five car all year and we've shown the speed. So it's just a matter of going to these playoffs. And I think we have the speed. It's just a matter of being consistent and really not having any mistakes and getting all the details right, I think, in these playoffs. And I think we'll be right where we need to be. But you never know what it's going to give you in these playoffs. So you just got to take what it gives you and try and make the most of it whenever you have those crazy things that happen.
Sounds good, Cole. Thank you so much.
All right, we'll go next to John Newby. Go ahead, John.
Thank you. So, Cole, obviously you dropped the tribute scheme for Kevin Harvick this week. I was just curious if you could talk about kind of the impact that he's had on your life, especially with the way like these past couple seasons have gone.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, I remember when I was a rookie, especially in the Xfinity Series in 17, I probably called Kevin every single weekend trying to ask him, 15 questions. I had a whole list going down on my phone and just trying to understand what to expect going into the weekends. I mean, when you have a cup champion that you can ask questions to, like you want to take advantage of that. And he's always been such an open guy about helping young guys. And I know there's tons of guys that he's helped in his career. So it's cool that we get to honor him this weekend and hopefully give him a good run.
And is there anything, like specific that stands out that he kind of taught you over these past couple of years?
I mean, I think a lot of it's just, what mindset you kind of need going into weekends at different tracks, what you need in your car, what he likes in his car compared to other people, and just trying to get an idea of what his mindset is going into weekends.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, well, we will take our next question from Dustin Albino. Go ahead, Dustin.
Hey, Cole, I know going into the year you had high expectations coming back to the Xfinity Series, and you mentioned you feel like you've been a top five car all year. How do you look at the regular season overall and how the Double Zero team performed?
I've been proud of our team, what we've done. I mean, we took a team that, was brand new this year. And, I think we've really built something into a team that can compete for a championship. So we've competed for wins this year. At the end of the day, all you can do is compete for wins and hope it plays out right. Sometimes you don't have things play out right perfectly throughout the year, but I think we've shown the speed that we can go and compete for wins. So in these playoffs, I think it's just a matter of getting the details right, and we'll be able to be up there mixing up.
Thank you.
All right, our next question will come from Mitchell Brewer. Go ahead, Mitchell.
Cole, in recent weeks, you've been able to get some extra seat time on the Cup side of things with Rick Ware Racing. Just curious how much that has been able to help you, and do you think that'll be able to give you any sort of assistance during the playoffs?
I mean, it's always good to, get in the cup stuff from time to time. I think just because, the competition level is so high and kind of reminds you that when you go up there and you're able to kind of put yourself in a different, area with different guys. And I think it kind of ups your game maybe a little bit also. So I think that's a good thing. And also just staying relevant in those cars because they are so much different, just getting laps in them and kind of understanding, how it's changing, as the years go by and everything. So it just keeps you relevant because they are so much different than the Xfinity cars.
Thank you.
All right, we will go next to Dustin Long. Go ahead, Dustin.
Thanks. Hey, Cole. Obviously, your situation is different from John Hunter Nemechek, but we're seeing guys that John went back by choice. I know it wasn't necessarily your choice to go back, but this is providing potentially an opportunity to springboard back into Cup. At one point, it was like there was almost a sense of you only had one chance to make an impression. Are you getting a sense now that even though you've had to go through this path, which you originally wouldn't have planned on, that there still is that opening opportunity to take a step back, to take a step forward, whereas maybe that might not have been the case a few years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I think for sure, whenever you're a driver, you want to be put in situations where you can go win and show what you can do. And I think we've done that this year. That we ran top 5 all year. We've won a couple races, and I think we can go compete for a championship here in the Xfinity Series. And you kind of let it play out how it plays out. You try and just take what it gives you and make the most of it. I think we've done a good job of that. Building this team this year, and I think we're going to go into playoff strong and show people what we can do.
And also, as you referenced, being able to compete for wins. Obviously, look, I know you won in Cup. I know you had some good runs, but I also know that they always talk about in Cup some of the fiercest battles are that 15th to 20th area, and I know you had that experience. So, what do you get more? What have you learned more? Been able to refine your racecraft by being able to be at the front, controlling races or racing for wins that you weren't getting the opportunity at each week per se in the Cup Series. What has this allowed you to grow as a driver?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just kind of sharpens your skill set maybe a little bit. Also, when you're running up front, you're able to kind of be in those situations of winning situations, and on restarts, what your mindset is and how you're going to push guys or how you're going to time the restart and how all that works at the front. So when you're running mid pack, you have to kind of have a different mindset of how you're going to make different moves and make it 3 wide and do different kind of things. So, I think being in the Xfinity Series can sharpen your skill set in some areas because you are racing for wins every weekend.
And one other thing is you're going back and forth with Cup and Xfinity this year at times. We hear more people talk about there's more of a correlation between the truck and the Cup car than the Xfinity and the Cup car because they're so different. I know you're getting experience racecraft wise, so that's still helping you overall. But is there less of a value with Xfinity in trying to make that move back up or to Cup because the cars are different, or what are the challenges in going in that path?
Yeah, so I haven't driven a truck in a while, since I think 2016. So I can't speak for the trucks, I guess, but I feel like the Xfinity cars, when I drive them, it's honestly, lift point wise and stuff like that, it's not too much different than a Cup car. It's similar motors. I think they both have around 650 horsepower. And, it's not like the Cup car has a ton of downforce. They have small spoilers like the Xfinity car. So it's just a matter of, I feel like honestly, when you go to short tracks, the lift points are pretty close. So it's not too far off an Xfinity car. Obviously, they drive a lot different in some situations like dirty air. And if you could get the car sideways, you're probably really in trouble in the Cup car. But at the end of the day, I don't see why, you can't run an Xfinity car and then go to a Cup car. I don't feel like it's too night and day different.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate it.
All right, we will go next to John Newby. Go ahead, John.
So Cole, a couple years ago, the Xfinity regular season ended with Bristol. Now it kicks it off. From a competitor standpoint, I mean, does that give you concern? Are you excited? Because there is such a small room for error at that track.
Yeah, I mean, I think I look forward to it because I think it's a good track for us. I feel like I always ran good there in our Xfinity cars, so I think it should be a strong race for us. It is one of those places, like you said, like you never know what to expect. It's the Bristol night race, sparks are flying and it's tight quarters racing. But at the end of the day, I think we'll have some good speed, so I'm looking forward to it and hopefully get a sword. That would start the playoffs off pretty good.
Thank you.
All right, our next question will come from Rob Tiongson. Go ahead, Rob.
Thanks again, Samantha. Cole, I just noticed that back in 2018 and 2019, you finished runner-up in the Xfinity Series Championship. So obviously you know how to make a deep playoff run. What will it take this year to be on the top of the podium this season?
Man, I mean, I think we just have to get there first. I've never been a part of the Xfinity Series when Phoenix was a championship race. So I think we'll just have to really go into that weekend if you're a part of the championship 4 and really try and optimize that racetrack, obviously. And I think it takes a cool head in these playoffs for sure. You're put in a lot of weird situations and things, something's going to go wrong at some point and you have to keep your calm and keep it, get the most out of the day. So I think, people with calm heads, I think it does prevail. But at the end of the day, I think we've had good speed and it's just a matter of getting the details right in these playoffs.
Thanks again, Cole. Best of luck, man.
Okay, we will go back to Dustin Long.
Thank you. Hey, Cole, when was the first time you ever went to Bristol? whether as a driver. I know you raced in the trucks at 14. Would you have been there any other time with your dad before then, or not because you're out in the West Coast?
Yeah, I remember watching, like the Xfinity races or Busch races then when I was probably like 8 years old or something. I got to go and watch, and that was always my favorite race of the year. I mean, Bristol night race, sparks were flying, the bump and run. I was, as a kid, that was what you look forward to all year. So it's pretty awesome to get to run there now, and hopefully even get a trophy out of it. But we'll see. I think I'm looking forward to the weekend though.
Do you remember the first time you walked into that track? And since you said it was a favorite, I'm guessing that there, even the memory of seeing it the first time, or what that was like, or what those memories are as you think about it now.
Oh man, I can't remember my first time walking in there. I do remember my first laps around there. I ran a K&N car, I think, in 2013, and I could barely breathe after about 5 laps. Like you're so nervous because it's your first real time going out there in on a national stage, and that was the K&N series. That was their first race of the year, so you're starting off the year going straight to Bristol. So it was definitely nerve wracking, and I think I spun out after 10 laps, but we were pretty fast. But it was definitely a cool place to go run at.
So after 10 laps, you spin out. Do you think, what am I doing out here? Or is it just like, hey, I'm a driver, I spin out, I found the limit, and I just go forward?
Well, yeah, I mean, like I think we had decent speed, and it was a competitive field, and I was happy with it, just because we had decent speed, and I just tried to get a little bit too much. But it was definitely a cool place to go run.
Thank you.
All right, Cole, thank you so much for stopping in with us here this morning, and we wish you the best of luck in the playoffs.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.